Great. I think I actually finished everything I wanted to do with the law of cosines stuff. Well, I sort of thought maybe it'd be helpful to have a dotted line that's compatible with this. And it might actually be helpful to map some of these animations to spacebar rather than clicking. But I don't think that's a big deal. I should probably push this stuff as well. Oh, and I did also notice when there's a lot of LaTeX on the screen, that slows down the interactivity a bit. It's part of the reason why I think it'd be helpful to make some of this, to make it possible to export video from the canvas and have it pre-rendered. But generally this is still pretty good. So I'm going to look for a way to encode this C capture. Oh, no difference from there, that's good. Okay, so this is something I can just use from Yarn or NPM, so I'll probably just do that. Then you can do GIF, or PNG in a tar, or JPEG in a tar. That's nice. And your render method after the frame has been drawn. Okay, so I guess you wouldn't want to do this with request animation frame if you wanted this to be a fixed... if you wanted this to happen with a fixed frame rate. Stop and then save, which will return a URL that can be previewed or downloaded. We can do this with a blob. Okay. Alright, hopefully this will work. This is... I looked through a few different options for doing this. And I would actually prefer if I could just use FFmpeg compile to WebAssembly, but I think there's a few reasons. Well, there are a few reasons why that doesn't work. And the one that mattered most to me was this out-of-memory issue. This looks fairly simple to use, I think. As for how to integrate it with what I have currently, I'd want it to be something, something done for the app. .view. And from here, I'll need a way to have a render loop that's not done with request animation frame. So it'll have to be not this, the one that's currently used. So maybe I don't have to worry about, well, I'll have to start the scene somehow. And then that'll start this. Let's see. If I go to some random thing, sine cosine is probably the simplest one. So I'm hitting this render button. It's going to call render scene, which is going to emit a function. That's kind of annoying. Because I think I want this localized to the, I think I want this localized to this particular page. I think. Maybe what I should try to do first is just get a way to run this loop with a fixed offset up between each frame. And for that, I probably actually can use this. All I have to do is replace this request animation frame, I think. I'd have to not call this. Then I'd have to call this timestamp thing in a loop, I think. This start new scenes, that's gonna go here. So it's gonna run the scene. I'll have this callback, so it'll switch play render loop to true after it's finished doing its setup. And following that, after that, it should start playing, because that's being watched here. So maybe all I need is just a little bit of configuration to tell this to run in a fixed loop. Or something like that. So this is play render loop. Render scene. I'll have two versions of render scene. They'll be like render scene like fixed and render scene live or something like that. Where is this? Here from app. Okay, here's where it is. And maybe here I just want to add this option for like live. So I'll just do that. So this will break everywhere where I do init render. Even though this doesn't want to search it, do I have to use a backslash? Maybe if I just search render. Nah, that's no good either. But this is already saved, so I guess I might as well just add this in. So, I have live here. Where else would this be called? Probably only in present. Yeah, this does it too. That'll also have to be live. And here, I guess. So these places where it emits render, where I emit render, is going to go up to the landing. Let's look at the render scene. So it's not just the code and scene name, it's going to be the like mode, then the code and CNAME. So I have these, and what it does is it does this setup. Canvas start new scene.value. Okay, this is going to set up interaction. Interesting. Following that, it'll make canvas finished. That's going to come back here. It's going to use this callback. We'll set this to false, and it's going to use play render loop. Here. Now what I think I want to do is swap this with another watch, and this would have to be like a fixed render loop, something like that. And it probably won't do this, it'll do some sort of loop. I'll say play fixed loop here. I'll say if new value. Oh, okay. And then I just have to say that if the mode is live or whatever, is that what I made it? Live? That's when it'll do this. And otherwise, this might have a switch, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, forget it. I don't have to be that fancy. I can just... Otherwise, if it's fixed, I'll do something else. And then else. And this is an error. Playback mode or whatever. And I'll just print the mode. Say this will be fixed render loop. So now let me just find where this is initialized. Where is it? Okay, here. Both of these will be false. Render scene. Oh, this if you render while it's already rendering, it'll start over. Do I need that with fixed? With the fixed thing? Maybe, hold on. I do want this to be a boolean like this. Maybe it doesn't have to be a separate mode like this, though. Yeah, maybe that can be something set separately. Like, it doesn't have to be in some way linked with the play render loop data. So take that back. I'll take this live out and take the live out of canvas. Oh, what was it? Present. And instead there just needs to be like a flag somewhere. V model, whatever. Oh, it can even have some text next to it, but I won't do that. Well, maybe I'll put something small like just fixed. I'm sure that looks terrible. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. Well, I don't think I can push that, but at least to make it, get it working. And that's fine, and then... I think what I want this to be is like a... Yeah, I can just have some variable for the mode, I think. It's like render mode. I think that's all I'll need. Then at the bottom of this, I can have a ref. Like so, return that. Okay, so now that should switch when I check this, according to whether this is checked. Great, then when I emit, where's the render? Here I emit render, and I think that's the only place. Thank goodness. Then before I do that, I'm gonna want to set this mode. Okay. I wonder if I could just watch it. I guess that would be a little cleaner if I just watched it, and then when it switched, I just switched some global variable, or not global, but root variable. I guess that would make more sense. Render mode here, I want to watch. On this. Right? But then the question is like, why would I even want this temp one? Is it possible to do this from only the root variable? Blur focus input emitted each time the state of the checkbox changes. I feel like this is gonna get complicated. And this is like not hard enough to warrant being that complicated, but let's see. I make this a ref of false. And then I can pass that to any of the children. And the app can listen for that, or take that as a prop. Oh, but it can't be a Boolean. I guess it has to be a string. Oh, that isn't live initially. Okay, so then this will have this render mode. The V model can be the render mode, sure, and then I won't create one here. And what I need now is for this, when I change it, I need it to, in some way, I guess it needs to just emit this thing. Update model value. I feel like this is not gonna work, but let's see. Update render mode. Maybe set render mode or something like that. Oh, and this can only be true or false. Yeah, this does need a temporary value. Yeah. Okay. So I need like a render mode checked, something like that. Yeah, and this can go to... This can be a ref false. Second default to false. Return this. And this can be what is passed to the checkbox. And on the update, I'll emit this thing. Just update it with the render mode checked, I guess. Okay, and then I should have an update render mode. Actually, I can probably do this inline, if that's not too messy. Maybe like checked. I'll just check that and then change it to either fixed or live. I think that's fairly small. Okay, that's gonna stay at live. Okay, so I think this kind of makes sense. But I'll still want to watch on this, so I can check. I can say that render mode equals, then put the value there. Okay, and if all of that works, from here to the emit, to the changing the render mode checked, to this update, to everything, then maybe I'll see that reflected in the console. But probably not. The watch is not defined. So I'll just go here. But I'm not seeing anything logged. Shocker, okay. I'm gonna return the console here. I guess emit isn't a function. So maybe that was a maybe I just messed that up. Because emit isn't a function. Well, console.log something. Okay, now it does it. So I did mess that up. Okay, so now I emit this update render mode, that goes here, and that eventually goes here. That's how that watch is changing. Oh wait, no, it's only saying the high. Can it read property emits options? Weird. Okay. Gonna have to try reloading that. Nothing again. Darn. Oh, you know? Render mode checked. No, it's fine. Emit update render mode and the render mode checked. Okay. Try doing that. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'll return the console so that I can use it in functions. Actually put this in parentheses too. And that render mode checked should be changed. Then the render mode itself, the string, should get updated here, if I'm lucky. Which I don't think I am. Okay, I got the high and the there. Updating the render mode is failing though. Do I have to do that value? I thought I didn't have to. It's not working either way. Maybe this just needs to be a function, like a real function, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They have let. Oh no, function. Update render mode, and this will have a render mode checked, I guess. I'll have basically the same thing. Then either fixed or live. Okay. Oh, you know, I should have printed something from here. If this function gets called. It should be the there print. Yeah, I can't tell if it worked. So this should be there. And then I should print render mode.value. Although it must not have, since this watch didn't trigger. I think. Okay, so now that's updating. Which is great. I don't need any of that stuff anymore. What I'm going to want to do now is when I do play start new scene, this play render loop that value equals true. As long as this is updating, render mode.value is always updating, and I'm passing that. I can pass that to the app itself. Don't need that. So where did the there come from? Okay. That rendered mode will now get passed to... needs to get passed to the canvas. The one from the props. This one. Then on the props for the canvas. Okay, then the props for the canvas. Then, when it receives play render loop, that switches to true. Don't need this. It's going to look at its value fixed or whatever. I'll just do like this should be fixed. Just to verify that it's reading that data. Okay, and it looks like it is. I don't even have a way to stop this. Guess I have the pause button. Okay, whatever. Like, it's kind of weird that the pause button doesn't... It's like, it won't be a pause, but it'll be like a pause and then generate the video button or something like that. But the pause button doesn't do that much anyway. Whatever. So should it do this request animation frame? I don't wanna block the main thread if I don't have to, but I might have to. I think I'll actually have to. Well, maybe not. Maybe I could do like request animation frame this. But the DT, I could just always have the DT be fixed. So the first time, for the first time, the DT equals 0, which I guess makes sense. Previous timestamp. Okay, and then it gets this timestamp. Maybe if it's fixed, I'll just have this T and DT be fixed. Maybe that's it. And then don't do the request animation. No, I still should do the request animation frame. Oh, actually, I don't even know if it read this. I should have to do if props.render mode triple equals. Have I been using the non-triple equals? I think I have. Whatever. Fix. That's when I want to do this. Okay, so that's still working. That's great. So now I can use this check in other ways. Which I think the way I want to use it is by putting it here. If previous timestamp equals null, then that should be 0, yeah. Otherwise, if it's live, then I'll do that. Else. I guess else if. It's fixed. Then, I guess I'll have to keep track of the number of loops. Or the frame number or whatever. Although I do want to keep this loop as slimmed down as possible. This is only one check though. That shouldn't be a big deal. Play render loop. Maybe I'll just have a variable here. Set this to 0. And then I just do a new one. I'll set that to 0. Value's never read. And then if it's live, just do that. Else if it's fixed, DT will be like 1/60, I'll say. And T... will be like I/60. I guess it isn't I. Frame number over 60? Okay, I think that's good. So the first time, those will both be the same. The second time, in the fixed mode, it ignores the timestamp. It does a fixed amount. A fixed increment. All I need is that one object. Maybe what I need, all I need is to do... I'm not sure if this will work. Import capture. New C capture. Yeah, I never know how to do this with imports. You step your values per frame according to the elapsed time. In other words, don't increment your variables with a fixed value each frame. Wait, isn't this exactly what I don't want to do? You step your values per frame according to elapsed time. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. With a fixed... Wait, isn't it saying the opposite? You are required to step your values per frame according to elapsed time. Don't increment your variables with a fixed value each time. Use an elapsed time delta to adjust those increments. Because it hooks the common methods for obtaining that elapsed time. Then making them behave like a constant time step is happening? Okay. Well, I guess that's what I'm doing right now. After the frame has been drawn, capture passing that. Okay. That sounds really weird. But if that's true, I guess I won't need the frame number. Won't need that, won't need that, won't need... this? If it's hooking into those, it'll just be here. I want to save that capture. I have to make sure I didn't change anything else there. So this is canvas. Yeah, it's literally just that. I'll just call the capture object here. Okay. So now I can see if that even runs. And it looks like it's not. But I'll reload this just in case. I can't even see the logs. Yeah, this ear cut thing when there's something wrong with the imports. I don't know why it says it that way. So I'll just try non-default importing this. Like so. Still. Maybe I can do this. Yeah, I kind of figured that wouldn't work. Maybe there's something wrong with the server or something like that. Okay, there is, because it's still doing this. So let's try doing that again. Okay, then I have to try not to do whatever broke it before. So this, the non-default import, that broke it. So let me try doing it, or the default import, that broke it. Nope, the non-default does the same thing. Same thing. Could not resolve array buffer data stream. That is the problem I saw from the GitHub. Here's hoping that's been seen before. Otherwise, I guess I'll have to use the tag. Array buffer data stream. So this was the issue for that. This is the array buffer data stream problem. And it didn't work, so someone else had to write a script. Doesn't require import scripts. Capture all min.js does include everything, except for the worker script for gif.js. Wait, how do you use it? That's interesting. Download is not defined. This is still open from 3 years ago. Yeah, maybe I have to do this. This person wasn't able to do it. This was never merged. Man, it's so disappointing that there's just no... Like, it's very little interest in fixing this. And then this guy, Spite, just like vanished. He actually wrote another really useful thing. Mesh line. Also not used or not maintained. An annual tradition. 12 days ago. And like still not an official solution. Okay, you can install this person's. Do I want to do that? Canvas capture. You should just switch to this person's bind key. Interesting. Can you render something? You need to do this only if you're recording a video or GIF. What is recording though? Then this only uses WebM, which is fine. I wonder how much this says, if he added any improvements. Mostly not. Okay. I think I'll just use the tag. I don't even know if a tag is any slower, so. WebM writer, I'll probably use that. GIF, tar. Yeah, I'll probably want all of this. Although, does that mean you just have to, wait, where do I get it from? WebM writer, gif.js, tar.js, download.js. Where are all these files? Like, what is in the build? Man. It is so unfortunate that so much of this isn't documented properly. Okay, so this is what this person did. Just source the entire min script. I installed the package locally using git and called this thing from vendor. As well as had problems using Webpack. Decided to take the easiest path. Don't know what it means to like call this from vendor. Does this even have regular installation instructions, like not using the... And I can just script source this. Is it possible to do this with a local file? I mean, it must be. No, it definitely is. So maybe I can do that. Maybe. Okay, get rid of that. So it's the PyDI, the jQuery terminal, it's MathJax. looks too weird. Darn. Cleared my clipboard somewhere. I wonder if there's a CDN with this. C capture all min.js. GitHub, what is it called? CDN. JS deliver. Git CDN. It's probably nothing. Probably won't be something there. I wonder if I can just import this from node modules. I'm not sure if that works like that. Build C capture all min.js. Isn't this from within source or something like that? Build C capture all min.js. Yes. I highly doubt this will work. It's still broken from the last thing. Okay. Yeah, it's not there. I assume that's what that is. Well, no, that's Google user content. That's something different. Did this work? Huh. I'm so surprised that I kind of don't believe it. Change that to something else and see if it actually breaks. And it does. Interesting. Some Wave UI thing that's not working though. Or did that... Here. From... Wave UI ES, yeah, whatever. That's gonna be designed to be undebuggable. Cool. So I think that's good. Uh-oh. Incorrect or missing formats, and I did not include a format. GIF web and FFmpeg server, that's interesting. Oh, there's web media recorder. FFmpeg server sounds pretty cool. Man, I wish this code was maintained. And it's mostly whammy and C capture. Yeah, this code is going to be really hard to understand. I wish the FFmpeg code worked too. Hey, Daryl Golden, what's up? I'm just struggling with GitHub, the usual. Okay, so I did in fact not include a type or whatever. Translation services. For like languages? Oh, you mean for trying to translate the documentation? Gotcha. well, best of luck. Oh man, and the GIF, creating a GIF is harder too? GIF.worker.js. What a pain. I guess GIFs are kind of outdated now. I don't know if they're used for anything. Or if they should be used for anything. Capture this, WebM, great. This is weird. Why is this failing now? Even though I don't know what this link is. Oh, my image isn't there. Weird. Anyway, this is working again. Okay, so I can have this capture. And all I'll do is I'll say capture.capture. Which I think is what, frame rate 60. I'll do frame rate in verbose. Make sure this isn't crashing. Which I'm sure it will be. Okay, so I've got that. Calling capture. I like how it has a quality. Like, it doesn't have the types for any of these. When you call the start method, the hooks are set. Oh, I see. You can call stop and then save. You don't need to stop in order to save. But I'll probably want to. Memory will not be freed. Running it with... Okay. There's so much jankiness about this. I wonder what FFmpeg server does. Receives frames from the browser to generate video on the server. It's pretty nice. Not something I'd want to expose probably though. Wait, where do you point at the server? URL. That must be it. I think? That'd be kind of nice. But not for right now. Coderef.get is not a function. Did I mess this up somewhere? Oh, I did. I have to have view 189. That's why that's not appearing. How was this before? I didn't change anything. Prompts.get coderef. await coderef.get. Oh, I remember changing this. But why is it not appearing in get diff? Oh, is that just... Did I just never fix that? Like here I'm using it the proper way. I guess not. Wait, get of this. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say if the render mode, if this is fixed, then I'm gonna start the capture. Capture, let's start. Then when I pause this or whatever, and here I'll do capture.stop. Great. And there I'll do the capture. I don't even know how to stop this, though, to be honest. Then I just stop and then what, like download or something? Stop and then save. Okay, so if I pause it, okay. I should be able to hit the pause button. That'll change this to false, and that should jump here. And this should stop and save it. Are you going to apply for Discord partner? Yeah, I'll do that, sure. Auto save time. Automatically compile, download, and free the captured frames every in seconds. And there'll be a tar file. $10 and 30 seconds for 4K, that's nice. It has to be under a gigabyte though. There's some memory things too. Okay. Man, I wish FFmpeg just worked. But life can't be that easy. Okay. Client is offline. Landing, reactivity, selection, repo.typescript. I feel like I'm seeing new errors all the time. Okay, I guess it worked that time. step is set to that. Okay, so I'll do this. Well, I don't see anything. Wait, why isn't it stopping? When I paused... Here, and I pause. Okay, pause. It sends that to false. That should be false. Yeah, maybe I should do this here. Well, no. No, I should do it where it is, actually. But that should get set to false, then it should stop here. So why didn't that happen? Guess I should try running this when it's not fixed. Which is also not running. Okay, so that will work when it's not fixed. Okay, try to make it fixed or run that. And that doesn't work. Okay. I'm getting less and less faith in Canvas to video solutions over time. So it should have been captured at start here, then done the request animation frame. Is that not happening? I guess it does the very first one. At least. Is it getting to the end here? So it should render. What's this even called? Requesting an animation frame. Okay, so that should happen each time. Now I'll just print out what the timestamp is. Like so. Well, it still works as usual normally. It only requests the first animation frame. DTT. Maybe it's because this always has to be based on the Well, I am using the elapsed time. Oh, I don't know. Let me just log some stuff. Okay, like that. Didn't even get to the 1. I put a 0.5 here. Is props.play render loop? No way. Okay, so that should be true. Then I should come in here. Yeah. So I can check this. This failed almost immediately. How? I got the first requesting an animation frame. I think it never even entered this loop, did it? Yeah, it never printed a timestamp. So it did this, and this was just never called. What a pain. I wonder if there's an issue about it or something. Poor quality web output. I guess I never specified if I was using the request animation frame. Time limit together with frame rate. If you're using request animation frame, you've been aiming for 60 FPS. Hooking into the common methods. So I guess it does all of these. For explore request code critiques are welcome. Yeah, okay. After the frame is drawn, won't work as expected after capture started. Make sure your animation loop is running. So maybe I have to loop separately from the request animation frame? Possibly? Maybe this seems to be in an else. And this seems to be like a 4. I equals 0, I less than, I'll do 60. I'll do request animation frame and then update it. But I'm basically doing the same thing I'm doing here, unfortunately. Guess I could call a render loop. I guess? But request animation frame isn't firing the same way. So request animation frame of the render loop. It says to do the capture here. Sure, but then... Well, I'll actually... Then this... And this is going in a loop. But I think the primary problem is that this is just never called again. Render... I'll just print something every time this starts. This is still the same. What's that one coming from? Don't need that. Timeout set to 100. What does that mean? Only does the render loop a single time. Cannot redefine property current time. Okay. This software's like being pretty janky. What I might end up having to do is like... I hope I don't have to write something on my own. There's a decent chance it'll come to that. This really just isn't doing anything. I guess I'd want to do this at the end of the render loop, right? I think that would make more sense. To do it here. And maybe that would increment the... the time. Oh, well, in that case I never started it, did I? Okay, so I'll always want to do this. This is what it did before. So maybe I want to start it, then request this. This will go through here. It'll render, capture. And maybe I want to do it after that request animation frame. Maybe. Same story. And if I do this, oh, well, in that case I was capturing twice. Starts, but so far as I can tell, it never does a capture. Which means I got here, probably did the request animation frame, then the request animation frame just didn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, it's just never being called. That's annoying. It says just call a render function that calls it in a loop. Maybe if I just call render loop? I doubt this will matter. So this is calling a function that calls itself. So I just call render loop. I mean, this needs a timestamp. So I guess I can call it 0. That won't really make sense. But I can. But this scene doesn't use the time offset anyway. Can I read property width of undefined? I'll do a little bit more. Read property width of undefined. I guess it's kind of doing something. Although these errors happened before, and it didn't matter at all. Render loop, add frame, and it doesn't have a width. I guess it'd be looking for the width of the canvas, and it can't find that, I assume? Var width and var height. Wrong canvas DOM element for the capture. Wrong if else. There seems to be a lot of problems with this. GIF recordings using the setter tool. Capture, draw, canvas. Okay, because I'll just randomly set the width and height. But it does make sense that I would need that, and it never asks for it. In fact, when you call the capture function... Oh, you do pass the canvas there. Where's the ID or whatever? Canvas.value. Okay, so with that, maybe it'll work. Maybe. But in that case, I'll just... If it's fixed, I'll do this. Otherwise, I'll do it the way it's designed for, which is this. Maybe I would have to request animation frame and then do the start afterward? Maybe that would work. I don't know, I guess I have to see if this works first. Okay, maybe that's working. I guess it saved a WebM. Well, that was super fast. Why? Well, at least it did something. That's good. I don't even know what that was called. F6BC. Okay, can I make this loop? They're like just not closed. Anyway, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's just super, super fast. Why? Oh, maybe because my timing... No, it's using the timestamp from request animation frame. I guess the first frame might have been really fast. Okay, well, let me see this. I'm gonna try it again when it's not fixed. So that does exactly what I expect. Now, when this is fixed, I'm gonna try requesting this, then starting it. I don't really think this will work. I can't tell if it worked or not. Oh, I can kind of see why that would go super fast, actually. I wish you could just put in the file name. Because my mouse... I'm not updating my hand according to the elapsed time and just moving the mouse. So I'd have to move this according to a fixed... I have to move this according to the time from request animation frame. I wish I knew how to make this loop automatically. Loop file -- loop. I also don't know why the number is like huge at first. On the very first frame, the number is way bigger. Maybe it's consistently doing that and I just can't tell. Oh yeah, it is. That's annoying. Whatever, I don't care. So now I need to make this move on its own. On mouse move, it does this stuff. So I can map the time to like an angle. So on draw, I'll say r equals 3. And the angle theta is going to be t. Now to convert that into a x and y. Which is just r cosine theta and r sine theta. Okay. Then I can just call on mouse move with that x and y. Cool. Now, maybe if I render this with a fixed whatever. Wait, was this even recording? Oh no, it just happened. But okay. Wait, why did it start at 42? This must not have stopped. T and DT, put those to 0. Is there a reset or something like that? Or do I have to start a new one? Anyway, this can stop. That's pretty smooth. I can't tell if it's going too fast or not. I think it is, though. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I actually need to find a way to reset it. New C count. Well, maybe that's the best way I can. Okay, if I'm lucky, I can factor this out. And it'll just be like this. And when this stops, it'll capture its last frame. And I'll stop and save. Hope I don't have to like instantiate a new one. I guess that wouldn't be a big deal though. Okay, here. Oh, I didn't save that. Okay. X equals 3 times cosine t. Y equals 3 times the sine of t. Actually, I can just do self mouse move. I'll just pass this and that. Should probably even be on one line. Wasn't trying to do that. And it's actually even a self.radius. Actually, the radius doesn't even matter. I can just do... Is this still... Why is it still recording? Why? That was weird. Okay, but now it'll do that on its own. I'm gonna stop that, save this. And I wonder if I start here. Yeah, it's not restarting the frames for some reason. There's some sort of weird... No, stop. I'll probably have to instantiate a new one, but for now, I'm gonna try closing this and just rendering this. And why would it start down there? There's so many like small strange things. What it must have been is like my mouse must have been there or something. Anyway. Also, this file might get too big. I guess that's also possible. What did it say for that? Auto save time. Automatically download the captured data every n seconds. Okay. Oh, and it stopped if I close the tab. Which also actually makes sense. Since browsers don't render things if you close their tab. I guess YouTube must. Yep. That's almost done. Okay. Six E57. The only problem with this, first of all, this is great. That's really nice. How do I pause it? The quality isn't super high, although I could always increase it more. I just wish it didn't start from -14. That's super weird. Is this a 2732 by whatever video? How large is it? Well, okay, so it's fairly small. That's good. I thought this would give the dimensions. I guess not. Okay, I'm gonna try to... Well, firstly, I have to make this actually... I guess I have to create a new one. That must be the only way to do it. So request animation frame, and here. Set this to null. I guess I don't need the verbosity anymore. Okay, so with that, hopefully now I can make this start at zero. Wait, is this still going? Oh, not this. Fixed. And I'll render this. It did that jump again. You know, the only explanation for that is that it must be the very first time. Is this still going? If I look away, it's not. The very first time I do this, it uses 0 as the start time rather than reading it from the timestamp, and that must cause that jump. I don't know how to fix that necessarily. That's perfect. It goes straight from 0 to 8. But it doesn't happen over here. Although this skipped 180. Oh no, it didn't. that very first frame. Maybe it's because... Maybe it's because I have to do this second? Although this just made it not work at all for me. Wait. If new value. This caused it to just not work at all for me, but I can try it again. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, same thing. Let me... It's designed to be used that way. So you just call the function, that's it. So it wants me... Okay, hold on. Man, I lost it. Well, shouldn't this do the same thing? If I request the animation frame, then do this, what would the difference even be? Why would... I want that at 0 frame first. Right. I was using T for that, right? This only depends on T, so it must be something with this. The timestamp, my start timestamp. Maybe I can say, like... Maybe the first frame I can just skip if I'm capturing video. What happens if I'll just print these timestamps. It did it again. It did that jump. Okay, I'll just stop it. So it didn't start from 0. Also, that timestamp isn't actually helpful. What I want is, T. That's what I want. Maybe it would have been more correct from the beginning if this was... Well, no, that doesn't even make sense. I have to take the timestamp here. That actually looked... Oh, that wasn't correct. It looked correct, but it wasn't correct. This jump from 0 to 0.3 is larger than all of these other jumps. These are like 0.02. So there is some problem with that. The animation looks really nice, though. So, how do I get that first frame to work properly? Maybe, what's 1 over 60 again? If this is computing it on its, oh, wait. If this is computing it on its own. 1 over 60 is this. If I multiply this by itself a few times. Huh. It's actually kind of weird that this ever became 0.38. Timestamp minus previous timestamp. Wait, where did I even start it? Oh, I started it here. Maybe the first frame I can just not do a capture? Something like that? No, that's not right. Let me subtract these and try that. So this number minus this one. Wait, these are both the same. This one. There. And that's pretty much 1 over 60. It must be that I can't do that, basically that trick. Calling it here first. Which means I'm not totally sure what to do the first time at all. What would DT be? I mean, 0 is the only thing that makes sense. If I need that timestamp, I'm doing timestamp minus previous timestamp times 0.001. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to think about this more. If 0 the first time, maybe it could be 0 the first time, then I could subtract 1 over the frame rate every other time. Although I actually don't even know if that'll work. Because this number is pretty far from 0.016. Jeez. So this is the smallest one. 0.364. Darn. This is like pretty silly reason for this not to work. But alas. I need to just call the render loop function. It needs to be like... needs to be like this. Like this. Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe it's just if that timestamp is undefined, then I do this. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Okay, don't know what happened there. But then beyond that, I should request animation frame with a render loop. And then it should get that timestamp for real. Why is that happening? 132. T is undefined. How is that possible? How is that possible? Is this undefined the first time? Okay, now I have to print the timestamp. Undefined and then 0. So that's correct. I must be using the timestamp. Previous timestamp. Yeah, darn. So this is true. Then start timestamp equals timestamp. So that's undefined. So I won't have a previous timestamp in this case. I'd have to like... I could save the previous timestamp on the second frame. This is getting really dumb. Maybe the first frame I could just do nothing. But just come down here and request animation frame again with a timestamp. So it'd be if timestamp is undefined, just get a timestamp. Would that make sense? Do this and then return? So the first time, it would see that it would have no timestamp, it'll be playing, it'll see that there's no timestamp, and just return. And the second time, it will have a timestamp, it'll be playing, it won't go here, it won't have a previous timestamp. And so it'll do its initial setting up. Well, if that does work, that would be hilarious. Hilariously complicated. No, it's still doing that jump, I think. Oh, maybe it wasn't. If I rendered this, it's gonna be slower from the I mean, this is working. Let's see. Oh, this is not running again. Darn. So it's doing this, then it's doing render loop. So it must only enter this once. That must be what it's doing. Yeah, only once. And I guess every time that loop fires, it expects to do a capture. So I have to like do something this first frame. I guess I could just capture a black screen, but that'd be weird too. Maybe I could do 2 initial frames. I think that'd be better. So I'd say if previous timestamp equals null or timestamp is undefined. What would this do? Or even is previous timestamp? Or is that defined? I set it to null when I start a new scene. Interesting. So the first time that'll be null. No, because there's something wrong with the DT, I think. Wait, could this possibly work? Okay, if previous timestamp equals null, it does this. Now here, I won't necessarily want to update this. When will I want to update the previous timestamp? Only if I have a current timestamp. So if timestamp isn't undefined, then I want to update that. Wait, start timestamp, I won't have that. This is gonna get really complicated. I think. Probably. The first time, previous timestamp will be null, so I'll do the render for time t equals 0. Now I can't set the start timestamp because I don't have a start timestamp. And actually... Wait, how did this ever make sense? Start timestamp equals timestamp? Oh. So this is if previous timestamp equals null and timestamp isn't undefined. Because that means I have a current timestamp. Okay, that's almost do the start in the previous timestamp. When will I set that? Will I always want that to be the timestamp? I guess I want to do this only if the current timestamp is not undefined. Previous equals null and timestamp not equals undefined. That's when I do the start timestamp. Then the previous timestamp, if timestamp's not undefined. Wait, maybe this works. Maybe. I think this is working. Doesn't look like it's not working. Okay. Okay, the normal mode, it looks like it's working. In the fixed mode, that looked correct. That looked right. Guess I have to stay on this screen. I wonder if you can give this thing a fixed amount of time. That would be nice. And hopefully this would go faster if I close this. Maybe I can just close it. Well, no, I think that'll change the size, which would probably just crash something. Oh well. It's getting there. And one. I think I missed it by a little. Okay. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Hopefully I went a little too far and not a little not far enough. Yeah, I went to like 1 degree. Great. That means I can export video. And it looks pretty nice too. WebM doesn't look so bad. The only thing that gives me pause is that this library is really janky. Also, this logic is really janky. So the first frame, neither of these runs. Because the previous timestamp is null, so... Wait. The timestamp is undefined, so that doesn't run. I think this should be first. No, it shouldn't. Okay, but the first time, the timestamp is undefined. So this doesn't run, and this doesn't run. So it renders the 0 frame. The second frame, the timestamp is defined, but the previous timestamp isn't defined. So this runs. Timestamp not equal undefined. And this also runs. So the start timestamp and previous timestamp are the same. So there's a starting frame first. And neither of these run. There's a starting frame. And neither one of these runs. Then there's a starting frame again. And this one runs. Because this is null. And this one must also run. So they're both equal. They're the same value. The start timestamp and the previous timestamp. But I don't subtract the start timestamp and the previous timestamp. I subtract from timestamp. So the third frame isn't the initial frame. I think. I hope. Now I wish I had a video editor so I could clip that correctly. No, I don't even know which one it was. (8FD48) C12 84A 7D1 6E whatever 48 whatever 43 whatever and 1EF star. That's pretty nice. Now I just want to look at this. To see all the fruits of my labor. Even though it doesn't have an angle indicator, the loop isn't perfect. But other than that, that's great. And I have to read up more about this C capture business. Is there a way to sort this? By recency? Oh, whatever. Looks like you only start it and stop it. I could do it should be possible to do a fixed number of frames if I, just tell it to like only do a fixed number of frames and then stop itself. But I won't do that now. Okay. I'll just raid someone. How about this person? Mr. _ Good and Watch. Although, if there's someone who's just started, that'd be better. Although none of these say how long they've been going. Where's me? I'm not even listed. That's how bad it is. Or am I not in software and game development right now? Whatever. I'll raid this person. Oh, I did the wrong thing. There we go. Okay.
Really janky models that I put together. There's gonna be janky models either way.
And then I'll cut it for YouTube.